I'm Isabel Howard, and I'm a very happy resident here of the village at Incarnate Word. I moved in June of 2022. You kind of lose track of time when you come here, and that's because we're so happy. I grew up 10 blocks from downtown, off of Florida Street, born at Santa Rosa Hospital, Sisters of Charity, and went to St. Mary's parochial school only because at that time when we would go to school, you were supposed to go to the Catholic school of your parish, which was San Fernando. The priest at the time was from the old country of Spain, and he was very clear to my mother that children attending the school there would be speaking Spanish and nothing but Spanish. And my mother says, thank you, but my daughters are growing up bilingual. She took us by the hand, walked us over 5 blocks to St. Mary's School, and the rest is history. Unfortunately, my father came back physically and mentally disabled from World War II. He ended up leaving the family. My mother, with a very limited education, had to get out to work and support 2 little girls. She struggled, but she put us through a Catholic education, something she never really had. And my aspiration as a little girl was to be a professional dancer. And of course, because money was tight, it was a dream that never became a reality until later on. And so then I graduated from Providence High School, went on to work with civil service 33 and a half years as a secretary. And my ending career was at the Defense Language Institute at Lackland, which was a dream come true because it was working with international military students. I could enjoy the international culture and still be able to go home and sleep in my own bed without having gone overseas. I was a secretary. Like I said, my first dream was to have been a professional dancer. Of course, that went out the window. And my second love was typing in shorthand. I loved, as a little girl, I used to play office, even though I couldn't write, but I was playing office. And so that's what I majored in school. When we were going to Providence in our era, you would either take academic courses, which my sister did because she was planning on going to college, Incarnate Word School of Nursing. But because I was interested in shorthand and typing, I took the commercial courses. So that prepared me to work as a secretary. I loved it. I really did. I never had to work a day in my life because I loved it so much. And then at the ripe old age of 22, I decided to take Mexican folkloric dancing. I loved it so much. I joined in April, and in August I was part of the main quartet. My 15 minutes of fame was when our troupe was honored to perform for Lady Bird Johnson when she came in 1965 to look at the grounds of our future hemisphere. Well, believe it or not, I was at Walgreens a couple of years ago in the pharmacy department, and as I was waiting in line, I turned around to one of these little end of the line displays, and I saw this, and I thought, oh, she looks familiar, my sister. And I turned it around, and it's me. So I thought, well, okay, I'll just buy 2 books and put them together, and there we are.
How did you meet your spouse, or when and how?
You know, that story and how I came here are perfect examples of God's plan for you. I was reading the August 1966 issue of Today's Catholic, and there was an article with a photograph of the Scots group, Single Catholics Over 30, from St. Matthew's. The president was Joan Grothews. I graduated from Providence with an Elaine Grothews. So I went to that social just to ask Joan if she was related to my classmate. Well, she wasn't, only through marriage. But I liked the group so well, I joined the group. And I went to their social September, October, November. In November, I was looking for this couple that I usually sat with. And when I came around this table, there was table for 6, I came around this side, and as I passed, I saw this gentleman with a white folded up cane. I thought, oh, this gentleman is blind. So I sat down at the other end, everybody introduced everybody. During the course of the evening, he asked me out to dance. And we went out to dance, 1 or 2 dances, came back. He went his way, I went mine, sat down. Said our goodbyes, and about a week and a half later, there was a message on my phone. This is Don Howard. We met at Scott's. If you care to visit on the phone, call me. What's a Don Howard? I didn't know. Oh my goodness. So I thought, process of elimination, it had to be the gentleman I danced with. I called him. We sat on the phone an hour and a half. Our lives had paralleled but never crossed. So we would see each other at the meetings. We're perfect friends, call each other, blah, blah, blah. We went out dancing 3 weekends in February, and he said, when we get married, oh. And so, I mean, it was just so natural. I said, okay, it was just wonderful. But he was kind enough to wait for another year until I retired. And so I retired February 28th and married March 28th. And even though he was visually impaired, there was nothing wrong with that man. He had the mind of a computer. He had been a computer programmer in civil service. And we had almost 23 years of marriage when he fell very unexpectedly. They put him in ICU. I went to lunch a wife, and an hour later came back a widow. As unexpected as it was, the fact that it was 1 week before Christmas, that's where I found my comfort. And when I called his children, I said, Dad's gone home to spend Christmas with Jesus. How could I be sad about that? They probably thought I was loony, but I thought, he's home, And I transitioned very well. I think it's because I know physically he's gone, but how can you miss somebody that's not really gone in your heart? I don't know where I'd be without my faith, really. They say that it's when it's in your worst moments that Christ is closest to you. And I really believe that because when I was left to be my mother's sole caregiver after my sister got married, there were times that, I felt like running out on the street screaming, because anybody that's had a loved one with any type of dementia, which is what my mother had, it can be very challenging. We turn into our parents at some point. You look back and you think, golly, I'm sounding like my parents when they used to say certain things. And you look at younger people and you think, well, where they're going, I've already been, and I was like that at one time, but I didn't know that I would get wiser with age. But I guess you get to the point that you just accept yourself and just, I'm just comfortable with, who I am. I think, well, take it or leave me, that's me. This community has just helped me, make me feel more comfortable being silly and being myself and stepping outside the box. And I love helping the disabled people here, especially those that have low vision. I always try to look out for them and have them special seating in the front whenever we have an event. Because even if I hadn't been with a blind husband, that's just part of who I am, to try and look out for the person that can't do for themselves. My husband had told me, Isabel, when I'm no longer here, stay in the house no longer than a year, then move on. But the first year came and went after he left. Second year came and left. And then March of 22, I thought, I need to get back and do some volunteer work. And out of nowhere, I thought, well, I'll go stop by Incarnate Word. And the minute I walked into that lobby, I thought, wow, what a happy place. I said, can I see an apartment? I don't know what possessed me to say that. May I see an apartment? Yeah, we'll show you something. That was on a Wednesday. The following Friday, 9 days later, Alma calls me. And she says, we've got an apartment. Okay. I came and looked at it and I thought, I don't even know where to get boxes to move. I was totally unprepared. But it was just such a welcoming atmosphere when I walked in the lobby. I was just so impressed, and it was just like, wow, this is home. It's just a wonderful atmosphere. I'm so blessed to be here. Appreciating your every day that you have. It is a gift. I think that's why they call it the present. Well, remember, what happens at the village stays at the village.